Okay. We're gonna have so many videos to delete after this. Hello, can people hear us? I had to turn down our encoding. Maybe it'll work better now? Yes, hello. Nico, say something.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Sorry if our audio quality is bad. We're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
Alright. Nico's audible. Great. Cool. How's the game audio? How's our balance and all that? Okay, audio works all around, says Pudding. Hello, everyone. Cool. We have 9 viewers. That seems like a good place to start, right, Nico?
Yeah, we can start.
Cool. Not hearing the game? Should I turn up the sound stuff? Are you hearing the game now? No game audio, but you can hear us. I love this. I'm gonna try to turn it up on the capture stuff. It'd be kind of ironic if we had you on, Nico, and no one can hear the music.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It's probably because I have headphones on it. I'm gonna take them out. Hey, can you hear the game now? Nico, you know the songs, you can just hum. Yeah, okay, so I can't listen to the game audio and also record it, apparently, so that's cool.
That was close. I was gonna have to do it in my best Andrew Bird whistle or something.
Yeah. Alright, it's been long enough. Let's just go in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hi, I'm Colin. I worked on the game with Nico. Nico, you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nico. I did the sound and music.
Yeah. You'll have to forgive our really low quality setup right now. But my plans did not work out to get this done all professionally, so we're going real scrappy. Just like Lucah, I guess. So anyways, Nico, how's it going?
Good. It's late here, but this is my this is sort of my most active hours anyways, so.
Yeah, that's how it feels sometimes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, you did the music and sound on this game, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't want to feel like I'm interviewing you, but
yeah, no. I mean, it feels different having 2 people on this because it's
I know we needed to have a third person who did not work on the game, who could just kind of host.
Well, chat can start.
Yeah.
Asking questions, I guess, right?
Yeah. Nico, how did we meet?
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, we've been friends since 2nd grade. I think we had the same duty, the same classroom responsibility or something.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. Chat. That's some deep Lucah lore right there. Anyways, we don't need to get into personal details because that's weird. But yeah, Nico and I have known each other for a while. We did some music stuff together. And then Nico was doing his own music stuff. And around the same time, I got Thanatos. Sorry chat, my least favorite mantra. Oh hi ST, how you doing? I'm still doing Luna. As I might have mentioned last stream, I'm kind of just playing the game on autopilot right now. I should try to do interesting things this time. Oh, Nico, what mantra should I use?
I'm trying to remember what I usually use. It's been a long time since I've actually played Lucah, but
Yeah.
I think that I actually use Thanatos a lot at this point.
We're going Thanatos. What
Sorry,
else?
my pronunciation is wrong, I'm sure.
I mean, we're all wrong unless we were like speaking like in the Greek or whatever. So.
Well, I mean, you set the canon, right? Like
it's. I just named it Thanatos because I like that it's like the persona, the canon persona of the Persona 3 protagonist. I don't know how to say it though. But anyways.
No, I thought that was that's not Orpheus.
Well, there's Orpheus and then Thanatos.
Oh, okay. I've never beaten Persona 3.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Persona 3.
I mean, it's oh yeah, oops. Whatever. It's an old game.
It also doesn't really spoil anything.
No, not at all. Yeah. Okay. I've got Gaia and Thanatos right now. It's a very slow set of mantras. This will be fun. Although I have an anima on Thanatos as the sub, so I feel like that's like the first go-to when you set it up. Though I like Pyro and Thanatos, so I don't run out of stamina in 2 swings.
I can never get the spacing rate for Pyra.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the true mid-range weapon of the game, which means it's weird. I remember when we were demoing this game a few times, and people just really love to either run away from everything or get super, super close. And that was a difficult challenge that I don't even know if we really solved it in the end. There's something about 2D games where it's really hard to sell like spatial recognition. Because I feel like in 3D games people don't generally do that, like run right up to the enemy they're attacking. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is like the Zelda syndrome of having it be like the sword be 1 frame away, so it's like or 1 square away or something. So Save Complete had a question about sound. Did you distort voices / your own voice from the taunt SFX? I mean, I definitely didn't distort my own voice. And I don't think I distorted voices. Most of the sound effects are drum machine hits from battery sort of processed. Or else they're public domain sound effects. But I think that those ones are. They might also have been. Oh no, I think they might have been arpeggiated synthesizers. I was sound effect.
I was about to say, aren't some of them just like straight up synth voices you made?
Yeah, there's some that are even like not quite the default settings on a synth on a synth voice, but I did all the sound effects in like a 2-week span, and they all really remembering how any individual one is made is gonna be it's gonna be tricky.
Well, it was kind of like we were getting to like the last few months of development, and like up till that point, all the sound effects were placeholder sound effects. Sorry, I keep going up to the wrong spot. Placeholder sound effects that we made in like SFX or something, just kind of randomly generating 8-bit sounds, and then I kind of gave you that giant list that was like, here's all the sound effects we need, and you bang them out pretty admirably. So
I mean, it was tough, especially for some of the longer sound effects, just because like I didn't like I'm not a programmer. I don't have Unity. So I couldn't really implement the sound effects to test them.
Yeah.
Am I?
What was that?
Oh, okay. I thought I might have gone offline, but
no, I can hear you still.
Okay, cool.
ST is asking what difficulty we're playing on. I'm playing on hard right now. Though at the slower speed, I guess, to make things more readable on a stream. Yeah. Does that answer the question, you think, Nico? Or what you wanted to say?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, effects? Like, if they're, yeah, I mean, if they're, I can find out exactly how I did that, and then I'll post it in Discord or something.
Yeah. Powerratch asks, how did you think of all the environments for the main sections? And again, this harkens back to an answer I gave in the previous stream, in that I wish that there was some grand design or something, but honestly, a lot of it was improvised. I kind of fit like my environment ideas, or like my story and level progressions to just big ideas of the kind of spaces I wanted to explore. I mean, the one we're in right now, I call the suburbs, and it's kind of, I think my reasoning to want to do like a suburban area, besides personal reasons, was just because the game Anodyne has a really cool and creepy one. So I wanted to do something like that. And also, you know, I'm into a lot of like suburban horror. But then other ones, like the kind of desert area and like the train area, it's kind of just because I had like maybe like a mechanical conceit that I thought would be cool, like having to like physically ride the trains in the train section and like wait for the different stops, or to do like the arena fights where like you're ranked, and that's the way that we like kind of subtly introduced the scoring system before you have to interact with it more completely in New Game Plus. And the radio tower that ends the game was just because I really like the game Fragile Dreams, Farewell Memories of the Moon. Sorry, that game's name is a mouthful and hard to remember. But its final level was like Tokyo Tower, and I thought it was really striking and cool imagery. And I like tall mechanical structures like radio towers. And I think like the concept of a radio tower kind of fits with sort of the thematic stuff happening there. It all just kind of came together in a nice way. Yeah. Anyways, Save Complete has a question for you, Nico.
Is there a single track on the final soundtrack that you reworked the most? I don't rework things. No, I'm kidding. I'm trying to think. I mean, a lot of them really do. Were outside of like mastering and stuff, were kind of done all at once, like all in one session. But I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I can't think of.
Well, what about the underground, or whichever one of those you weren't too happy with?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I still didn't. I guess I reworked it, but it just ended up I don't think I ended up actually changing the version that was in the game. I tried a bunch of things and I could never quite get the two different drums to sort of sync up in a way I was comfortable with. But I mean, another one that took the most sort of fine tuning was the marked, just because
that's Sarah's boss theme, right?
No, that's the guitar, the one with
sorry.
Guitar.
Yeah.
Just because I was having a lot of latency issues, so I had to like realign a lot of the guitar playing that was off time because of the latency problems I was having.
Mm-hmm. That, I mean, I think it shows in that track though. That's like one of the best on the whole soundtrack, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, there's, it was. I wanted to do a remix of it for the remix album, but I couldn't. I'm trying to remember why it didn't happen. I think I just like couldn't find much of a way to do things differently with that one because I didn't want to change the guitar sound up, and the guitar sound takes up a lot of the sort of acoustic space of it.
Yeah. I mean, it was super cool to like hear an acoustic instrument in this like pretty much all electronic soundtrack, and that's a pretty nifty like aspect of it. I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, it was exciting to do something like that because like I like a lot of bands like My Late Valentine and Slow Dive, but also like German psychedelic bands like Amandul or Ashra Temple. So it sort of let me explore those sounds, which I don't get to explore all that often.
I think there was one time we were in my parents' basement back at home, and he showed me like Amandul for the first time, and it was like revelatory.
Oh really? I don't even remember that. That's
Maybe
awesome.
it must have been something else. I think it was like very early on when we were like starting to take the prospect of making this game like seriously.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't remember that, but I believe like all those bands I try to push on a lot of different people.
Yeah. No, the game soundtrack is definitely totally unique, and even like not what I even expected when we went into it. In a good way though, because I feel like if I was trying to score, I lost the boss. If I was trying to score the game, I'd probably not have any creative ideas beyond, it's got to be dark and brooding. It'd be like that Peep Show scene of like the longer the note, the more dread.
The longer the note, the more dread.
And that's basically what the whole thing would be.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell, like, you can tell when in development I did the track by whether I just neglected adding any bass because it took me forever to find a bass that I like, but also by how much I rely on a drone to sort of create ambiance.
For folks that don't know, you can run past all these fights once you do it for the first time, and there's actually a few fights in the game. You don't need to do every fight in the game, and I see some streamers wanting to do that, which is cool. But if you just want to run to the boss, usually you can. Anyways,
I think we had a couple questions back. So
I want to talk more about the music, but Leah, let's get to it. So ST is asking about the DLC. Broad strokes. After the game's release, I started working on basically would be the game's equivalent of like a Bloody Palace mode. Like 100 rounds of fights all in a row, like super like survival type thing. Mostly combat focused, and then I like a silly dev decided to make it story important too, which made it a lot more ambitious than what I was initially planning it to be. I think in a good way though. And also we got the opportunity to do the Switch port, so that kind of took precedence. So that's why it's been sitting at kind of like 90% done for a long time. But once this port releases, I'll feel pretty confident in going back and finishing that up. Nico's had like all the music for that and like the second like side story DLC type thing, which I won't speak too much about. Though it's going to be a Christian side story for a long time now. So I really want to make that at the very least so you can all hear those cool tracks that Nico made. Pudding's question was skipped over. I'm so sorry. Did you ever have speedrunning in mind when making the game? I mean, kinda. I didn't really set out to make a very speedrunnable game, just because I'm not sure it really... I would have had to make too many compromises, I think, to the game's like aesthetic and presentation for that. Though I'm very happy that people did try to speedrun the game, especially very early on. I think what I was more intending as far as high level play was the sort of stuff you see with like Bayonetta or Platinum games, where it's like people making like cool like gameplay videos that they like, you know, cut together and record. But I still welcome the speedrun community that's formed around the game. I think it's really cool, and I'm curious to see how it evolves as more people find the game, especially with the Switch version. Yeah, sorry about missing your question, Pudding. You're great. Let's see. Thank you, SC, for liking the battle.
Recently, this is
Yeah.
just because you were just talking about sort of style videos, and recently I remembered when we were kids and RuneScape PK videos were a thing. I don't know if you remember that, but we had a lot of friends who were very into RuneScape.
I got into it very briefly just because of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, although I got into an area that was too high level for me one time, and I was about to die, so I logged off and never logged back on.
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah, I did that thing you weren't supposed to do where you, like, exit the window in the middle of a fight, and then, I just left it. That character was abandoned forever.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I used to be a wimp when it came to, like, video game stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with engaging with games in a certain way, but I would hate anything that was like vaguely, challenging or punishing like that. I think that's why I liked JRPGs a lot as a younger kid, because like the turn-based stuff felt a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
And I didn't do much multiplayer either. I still don't.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm still kind of like that. I mean, I think other than basically exactly Bayonetta,
Yeah.
I'm still...
Well, and
mostly...
Symphony of the Night, too.
Yeah, although that game is because it's so old, it's clunky enough that, like, it almost doesn't feel real time.
Yeah.
Because it moves slow enough, but...
I started playing that, by the way.
It's so good, right?
Yeah, I didn't get very far, but I think like I found like the first save point, but it was cool. Although I was so frustrated that like you start with all the cool stuff and they take it away immediately.
Oh,
It's a good hook, but I was like, no, let me start here.
Yeah.
But anyways, I shouldn't complain about that. Lucah doesn't even let you see the cool stuff. But yeah. Has anyone made a combo mad video, Rules Best saying, for Lucah? I think our very own Safely in the chat has done stuff that's pretty close to that. But no like fully fledged like combo videos on YouTube that you see for like Devil May Cry or whatever. Which, I mean, to be honest, makes some sense for the game just because it's not as, like visually polished or like interesting in the same sort of ways as like a AAA style fighter would be. But I don't know, I think there could be a small niche for it. Anyways, this boss is kicking my butt. I should probably try to actually fight it. And also, maybe not use Thanatos and Gaia in my next attempt. Anyways, it's so close. So close. Thank you, chat, for encouraging me. This should be the final hit. Yeah! Hi, Polyromantic. Good to see you. One thing I wanted to point out with the end of that fight is you can usually tell when the end of the fight is going to be because I purposely coded all the finishers to deal way more damage if the enemy was low health, just so that you're statistically way more likely to end the fight on a cool finisher than not. So I just knew with that last Thanatos hit, it would have been enough to finish the fight. I should wait for the bus. I don't want to die on the fight and on the way up to the desert level. We're about to hear the marked. It's funny that it came up earlier.
Yeah. Do we should probably give away some soundtracks, right? We haven't done any yet.
Oh, yes. Good thinking. Sorry, it's been like 20 minutes.
Oh, no, it's all... I mean...
Yeah.
They
chat,
can wait, or they can buy it, like...
Yeah, or you can buy it if you want. Chat, Nico has free codes for the soundtrack. If you don't have the soundtrack, or even if you do and you want to give it away to a friend or an enemy, whoever you want. Let's see. Nico, why don't you come up with something?
Well, how many people are in the chat right now?
14.
14. Everyone who's in the chat now, if you send me a message on Discord, I'll send you a code. There's not so many people that we need to.
We were gonna do like a contest drawing, but Nico's being very generous.
Well, like I still have 90 codes from the last time we did a promotion, so
yeah.
So yeah, send me a message on. I guess it doesn't have to be Discord. Send me a message on Discord or Twitter or I'll even I don't know. I'm trying to think because any way people can contact me.
What's your Discord tag, Nico?
Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know. I'm gonna pull it up. My Discord tag is at Nicolo D. Telesta. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
I wanna point out that I purposely baited the witch time out there just so I could finish with the Thanatos charge attack, which is pretty much totally useless in every other circumstance because it's so slow. But that's the kind of stuff I want to do with this game.
Colin, are you logged into Twitch? Would you just be able to... I'm not logged in, so I can't post my...
Yeah, I could post your tag.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's just at Nicola D. Telesca. If you don't have Discord, and you're not following me on Twitter, because my Twitter is locked right now, I don't know what a Discord tag is, I guess.
Lol.
Sorry.
Okay.
Ignore what...
Yeah, go with chat. While you're talking, Nico, I'm gonna seriously actually respec my builds.
Oh yeah, take your time.
Yeah.
If you don't have Discord and don't follow me on Twitter, just let me know, and then if it's post in the chat, and then we'll figure something out. But if no one posts in the chat, then I'm not gonna worry about it.
Porach is asking if it's a Bandcamp code.
It is a Bandcamp code, yeah. I'll send you the link to access and the code to put in.
So I thought I was gonna not use Witch Time, but I want to show off something about Witch Time in the arena fight. So forgive me for using it a little bit longer. And probably Enraged too. Okay, so we're up to the arena, which introduces the character... Oh wait, I forgot I gotta do these fights. We're at the arena, which introduces the like scoring system for the game, but like in universe as like a... Oh, you're like performing for this audience. Which I thought was very clever. Because a lot of those style action games, they're very arcadey in that they just have a score system because that's what the video game wants. And I wanted that too, but Lucah's like supposed to be like a kind of serious game, so it felt weird to just include arcadey aspects without it. So I guess that's kind of how the arena section came about. It's like a soft tutorial for the scoring system that has major implications in the New Game Plus mode, which still doesn't have a lot of footage available of online. So it still sort of feels like a secret, which I guess is kind of cool. But also I think the game's been out long enough that I can talk about it and encourage more people to try it, because it really is where the heart of the game is. Which was maybe a silly idea, but I thought enough people played Nier to maybe be willing to give it a try. Anyways, yes, thank you for the Fs and the RIPs. The real style meter is in your heart. You are not too far off from a pretty good explanation of it. I'm gonna do the trainer just to get the health essence, because I'm planning on going on to New Game Plus on this save file, and I do want to have all my health essences for that. Oh, I just totally whiffed that that dang counterattack.
If it's okay with everyone, if I haven't sent you a code yet, be larger than I anticipated. So, it's okay.
Hey Nico, it seems like you're cutting out.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if it's okay, I'm gonna request the codes during the stream, and then if it's okay, I'll send the codes tomorrow.
Yeah.
On my day off.
That sounds good.
It took a long time to send the one, and I'm also doing it with one hand because I'm holding the phone with the other one. So
fair enough. I did that fight in like 3 seconds. I'm pretty proud of that. Pudding asks, was the trainer ever planned to be important? The first time I saw them, they always seemed important. I mean, the trainer basically had the amount of importance I planned them to have. I think people just resonated with the character design a lot more than I expected. Yeah.
I feel like that's also a David Lynch thing too, like a David Lynch influence, where these characters will show up for a very brief amount of time but feel important.
Yeah. That's true. He did that a lot in the new Twin Peaks series.
Yeah.
Which was cool. Porach asks, were the button combos supposed to work at some point, or were they always meant to be non-functional? They are functional in New Game Plus. That's all I'll say. Soup says, I really like the trainer's design. Also their dialogue, I'll teach you how to be beautiful, is great. Yeah, there is... their line there is kind of the first hint, I think, of what the overall mission statement of the game is, and kind of why, like, what I wanted to do with all the style fighter influence. Yeah, I think it was like the ultimate coming together of like form and function there that I'm pretty proud of, and I think that's why she's in a lot of our marketing materials, or at least on all of our like store pages. I'm going to talk to all these kids very briefly. I am very proud of these kids, and I also think it's kind of interesting that they show up only very briefly like that, but hints that there's a lot more like us out there. Anyway, Sarah's back. Sarah has unique lines at this point in New Game Plus, and I think she has unique lines at all points in New Game Plus, so definitely check that out if you haven't. This tent here hides a hidden path to get my favorite, or second favorite virtue. My favorite is the one that decreases all your stats but increases your VP. This one really goes along with what the design ideal of the game was to encourage people to play beautifully, you know? And that's by increasing your damage output and increasing your damage taken, because if you're playing the game the way I kind of see as optimally, you're never taking damage. Not that that's a reality most of the time, but you know, it's fun to aspire to. Anyways, Yeah, Porech, try doing the conversation in New Game Plus again. But pressing a button besides A. It will work. I think I didn't intend for the buttons to still be grayed out in New Game Plus, but after seeing it in the game, I thought it was kind of neat, because it's like a Easter egg that it'll work. Anyways. Pudding, why does Sarah look like an egg when you're not in the arena? I don't know. I didn't make that connection until after the game came out. In fact, I didn't even realize a lot of folks confuse Christian and Michael at the beginning, which is totally fair. I never did because I guess I was too close to their designs. And you know, it's like, oh, one's orange and one's yellow. Like one is wearing like a bandana over their mouth, the other has their whole face showing, things like that. But you know, it's these things that sometimes you don't realize until it reaches a much larger audience. Yeah. Nico, how's it going over there?
I'm good. Where, so, is that, do people actually think Sarah looks like an egg? That's a meme that's shown up in the Discord that I just have no frame of reference for.
I think so. It's kind of like, because like I guess the shape of her, like the silhouette of her body and like the shape of her hair, like the kind of jaggedness, kind of looks like maybe an egg that's been cracked open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 HP win. That's true. Nico, I know it is late where you are. How much longer do you think you'll be able to stay on?
I can stay on an infinite amount of hours.
That's a pretty
working the night shift has made my sleep schedule kind of a mess. So
yeah.
So I'm in no rush to go to bed.
Yeah. Okay. I think all that's left to do in this chapter now is to do the arenas fights. I'll do all of them. Why not? Yeah, save complete. That was the thing that showed up on the Lucah art channel on the Discord. There was like a little fan art of it. Of the Sarah egg, I mean. But that was like a while ago.
It's probably pinned, though.
Yeah, probably. Pudding asked, will the second DLC be all about how Sarah has magical egg powers? No, but, I mean, this doesn't count as spoilers yet, because, it's not even that far into development, but, I want the second DLC to have a total, like, Tales of JRPG moment, where you have a whole party fighting with you. In the base game, you only ever have one AI ally fighting with you, but the game can support more than one. And I have a very vivid design vision of Christian recruiting the other Mark that Lucah meets, like Sarah, Lily, and Michael, and having a sequence where they are all fighting alongside you as Christian. So yeah, hopefully I can actually make it work. We'll see. That's why it's not considered a spoiler yet. Anyways.
Can I also say, just on a similar thing, one plan that we had?
Yeah.
Not even plan, but one thing we discussed early on was having couch co-op.
Yeah.
With Lucah, and I don't even know if we had Christian as a character then, or if it was,
I don't think so.
It was really early.
Yeah. Wasn't there an idea to have a mode where the second player controls the familiar?
Oh, I kind of remember us talking about that at some point.
Yeah, it would be like a Mario Galaxy level second player engagement where they're not doing too much, but you know you're being involved. Originally when I first pitched this game to some people, there was online co-op in it, but that was just to make it sound more exciting. It became really obvious that was both out of scope and kind of not really in line with the rest of the game, so Anyways, Polyromantic has some questions for you, Nico.
Yeah, so, what was your favorite song to read for the soundtrack? I guess the rival themes were a lot of fun. I mean, I think that, that it was fun to sort of have this one progression, and have to do it a bunch of different ways. And I think it's fun that sort of, because I did each one at a very different point in the memory, it sort of shows how much I'd improved from the first Christian fight to the third as a composer. And then the second question was what were the biggest inspirations. So I guess for the level themes, it was a lot of dub. I mean, a lot of Lee Scratch Perry, and also a sort of noise dub producer, Muslim Cause, who I listen to a lot. And then other sort of ambient stuff, and drone stuff. And then as far as boss themes, just a lot of like The Prodigy and Death Grips, and just big beats like that.
Yeah. Alright, we're getting to the end of the arena stuff, which I know gets fairly intense. So I guess content warning for a lot of violence and death. But besides that, gotta get out of autopilot mode for a sec to remember what's going on. Yeah, Nico, was Aphex Twin inspiration at all?
I think that I have listened to maybe 2 Aphex Twin songs in my life. I'm sure I will love Aphex Twin when I do get into Aphex Twin, but it feels very overwhelming to get into Aphex Twin. But I'm a big Square Pusher fan, and I think that a lot of people sort of group those two together, so I love Square Pusher.
Nico, were there any sounds or inspirations you had that you maybe wanted to get into the game soundtrack, but that didn't for one reason or another?
I think I wish that I had done more stuff with I guess live instruments, especially live guitar. It was just such a headache to do the marked track that I didn't get a chance to really do it. But now my latency issue is all fixed, so I wish I had redone it.
I forgot, is that one DLC track you revealed, the Doom one, did that have live instrument?
Well, that hasn't been revealed, I think.
Oh, oops.
No, it's good.
I thought you shared that one. I
shared one with like a guitar sound. That was the most recent one I shared.
Oh, that's right. And I also asked if that was live, and it was not.
Yeah, no, that's not. But there is another track in still very early stages that you've heard that no one else has heard that does have live guitar, but I haven't been able to get the tone right, so I'm not sure what form that's going to end up being in.
Yeah. It's all good. When our next game is all, God, what'd you call it? The genre? Sega Funk or something?
Sega Funk?
Did I make that up? I don't even remember.
I don't remember that conversation, but that sounds like something that I'd say. So
it's all going to be electronic anyway. So
yeah, no, yeah,
no, we'll see.
Yeah,
I have the.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I have the very early workings of another or like a new project that I'm working on that's not Lucah related. That I've like kind of barely started showing Nico, and Nico's already had some cool like sound inspirations. So
yeah, that one's gonna be different.
Yeah.
I think different for both of us from this.
Oh God, it's so different from Lucah.
Yeah.
Not that I'm still not working on Lucah, obviously, because I'm doing that right now even. But something in the meanwhile.
So Save Complete wanted to know, with regard to the cut dialogue noise blips, were there specific instruments for each character? Not specific instruments, there are definitely specific tones. So basically, how a lot of them, I'll probably upload them to SoundCloud tomorrow, but how a lot of them sort of were created was taking some public domain found sound typing sounds for like a text scroll, and then applying a lot of resonator, like resonance to them to make them have more of an actual tone, so it almost sounded a little bit like voices. And so those tones were sort of assigned to different characters, but I also didn't make them with specific characters in mind. I made a bunch of them and then figured they could be assigned later.
Yeah. Polyromantic says, here's a dorky question for Colin. What kind of music would Lucah like, and ditto for Christian? Christian's is really easy, because he would be a Christian rock kid, who is just getting over Christian rock, and is going to discover music that isn't that, very sheltered. Lucah is basically the kind of stuff that's in the track list for the game. So a combination of like sugary pop and like new metal and doom and some witch house. Yeah, that's what I say.
I feel like Christian just got into the emo Christian band Emery, and then that's gonna be a jumping off point into like post-hardcore stuff in college.
Well, pre Lucah Christian is like just listening to the Christian rock stuff, and then in college becomes like a mosher hardcore kid. Yeah. S2 would love to see more arena type battles and stuff like that in the DLC. Well, you will be very happy with the DLC. Hard is a lot of fun, and that's how I kind of balanced the game when I was developing it. Normal is sort of the easy for me, and that's what I consider. That's then when I realized people would actually probably want for a normal difficulty. Pudding has the egg Sarah picture, and they'll whisper it to you in light of beating the boss Sarah. So yeah. Oh, by the way, it's in my own headcanon that Sarah did not die after that fight. The what the fandom is come to call the Marked Watcher, because it hides what that person's real name is. I'm playing I'm Not a Machine, I guess. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's my intention that person stopped the fight before any more death, I should say, happened. I didn't really sell that, and that's my bad. But oh well. It's all kind of works on weird timelines and stuff anyway, so everyone's alive. In the end, just trust me on that. Anyways. Hard's kind of the difficulty, I think, that like if you're like really into these kind of games, or even just like indie, like you play like a lot of like intense like indie games, like Miami or Throne or stuff. That's kind of the difficulty I recommend. Everyone else, normal or easy, is totally okay. Play with the assists if you need to, or if you just care about the story, that's also okay. I play with the assists sometimes when I'm testing, so yeah. Oh yeah, I Am Not Ashamed does not look good on Twitch. I can see it on my monitor right now, even. We struggle a lot with video compression, I realized, long after settling on the art style. And not much I could do about it, really. I learned for my next big project. That's all I'll say. Cool. So yeah. Nico, what have you been listening to lately?
What have I been listening to lately? Well, before I get into that, I just want to say, my pudding asked, should I be judged for staying on normal for eternity?
No.
No, of course not. Yeah.
No one gets judged here. That was an important thing too when putting the game together. Nothing changes depending on whether you have the assists or like want to use the heal familiar or whatever. You can still get the achievements. Well, besides the achievements that are difficulty locked, like beating the game on challenge, but you can use assists even for that if you need to. So, because that's not what Lucah's about. Lucah's about not torturing yourself, among other things.
Yeah. As far as what I've been listening to, though, because I did want to answer that question.
Yeah.
Because I just like talking about what I'm listening to. I've been really into jungle. So I've been listening to like Goldie.
Yeah.
And then I've also been really into this hip hop producer. He does total hip hop, himbo hip hop. Damu the Fudge Monk. So yeah, check those out.
Yeah. ST, if you like this part, you will really like the DLC. Wink wink. We might see the return of Angel Slayer in one way or another. Angel Slayer being the mode that Pudding and Save Complete are referring to. But yeah, if you really want like a challenge or like the way I envisioned like high level play of the game to be, try playing it on hard with without the use of Aether or the heal familiar. The heal familiar and Aether were both nerfed recently because I realized I might have made them too overpowered. Especially because they're not in the context of assists, even though that's kind of what I intended them to be. But they're still really good, and I think it's good to not try to use them. I can't afford Erebus right now. I'd love to get Anxious, though. Anxious is like number 3 cool virtue in my eyes. So yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading some chat stuff. But yeah, Drool Spout mentions playing with the infinite rewinds assists, and I totally endorse that. That's really cool. Just like practicing the fights. It's something I wish that more games like this would have. I'm going to turn off Hated because it's making fights end too quickly. And I'm going to turn off Witch Time because it's making things a bit too mindless for me. Let's do Empowered, so I want to stay at full health, and Driven, so I can keep comboing. Cool. Let's see. Nico, I think I want to end maybe at the end of this track with the Depths fight. So, are there any more codes you wanted to give away or anything? Or you want to announce that again?
Yeah, I'll just post it. That if you send me a message, or if you follow me on Twitter, you can send me a message there. Then I'll send you a download code. just post in the chat and I'll think of a creative solution.
Yeah, so if you couldn't hear Nico, post in the chat if you want a code, and we can figure something out.
Yeah, if you don't...
If you can't contact him in any other way, like Discord or Twitter.
Just we were gonna do a thing that would make it more streamlined, but I figured that it was gonna be easier just to do this. But then I didn't think of the logistics of it, so this was on me.
Parry fight. Sorry, Christian parried me and I parried him back. That is a cool strat, in my opinion. Anyways. One fun fact is that I coded a whole ability. Oh, we have Moonwalking Christian again. Nice. That's not supposed to happen. Every time I think I fixed that bug, I haven't. So that's game development for you. Thankfully, it's not breaking or anything. What was I gonna say? I don't know. Sorry, Nico, I can't hear you right now.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
It's a bit better?
How about now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry, I moved the way I was holding the phone.
I see.
Someone asked, how did I make Erebos sound so menacing? And I think that just in general, the tricks for how I did the sound effects are just a lot of ping-pong delay, a lot of resonance, and then a little bit of amplification, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I'm gonna try BIOS. It's not a good one. You know what? I'm gonna be a weirdo and I'm gonna put Arrow as my primary so late in the game. Let's do it. Putting S, will co-op versus anything like that ever be added? Probably not. Doing something like that is usually pretty intense as far as game development goes, and usually requires restructuring how the whole game works. I would love to, at some point, make like a co-op game in some capacity, maybe even for like what I imagine Lucah 2 to be, but it won't happen for this game. And that's just a limitation of where it is. Yeah.
We talked on the last time about a Dreamcast port, so I think that when we do a Dreamcast port, we'll have, if you have the Dreamcast light gun, you can use that to control the familiar in the player 2
there we go.
Controller slot. I think that that's the closest we're gonna get.
I endorse that one. I did consider adding the familiar second player thing because of the Switch, but then I realized that most people add second player stuff to the Switch if their game can run on just one of the Joy-Cons, with the assumption being that the second Joy-Con will be the second controller, and Lucah absolutely cannot do that. Because we need to use every single button. Unfortunately. But that's okay. Oh, by the way, these enemies, if you haven't played them in a long time, have been super nerfed since where they were before. The Reflect Virtue used to make them melt still, and it still does, but it makes it melt even more now. And you can also, I've made the parry windows on its attacks, and the break amount's super big. But anyways, Erebos really does feel like just 50 nails on a chalkboard at once, Nico. And Drool Spout. I think in a good way.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you.
Yeah. It is very unique. I think it and Thanatos are the ones that stick out in my mind as far as the mantra sounds.
Well, it's funny too, because Thanatos, those sounds predated the rest of them by like months.
Yeah, they were the first ones you made.
Yeah.
So fun fact about Lucah's development. The sound and the music is all over the place as far as when it was made. I think like our credit themes were sourced from among the first tracks that Nico had made when I brought him onto the project. Some of which weren't even intended to be like for Lucah, because Lucah didn't exist yet. Whereas Lucah's development was pretty much linear. The only things that really were developed out of order were the forest level came before the tutorial, and then everything afterwards was developed pretty sequentially as far as when you play through it. And it's just, it's just how it ended up working. I know for some folks that doesn't work, or you want to have everything planned and to have sort of a logical progression to how things are made. But yeah, like literally the last things that were added to the game before launch were the New Game Plus changes and the true ending in New Game Plus. So yeah, game development's an interesting beast. I wish more people knew kind of the ins and outs of how that works, especially on like a small indie team like ours. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think like for most small teams are on some level making it up as they go.
Yeah. Well, it's like a blessing and a curse of being like the small team, because you're generally not beholden to like shareholders or big budgets or anything like that. With the inverse being, it's because you have no money.
Right.
And you're usually working on your own time. But that means you're not answering to anyone but yourself. So that's cool. Lucah would not have happened. At least not in a recognizable form. If it was not like totally self-published, I'm pretty convinced. Especially because when we talked to like Kev did a good job getting us in touch with people who could potentially fund the game, and I think that was kind of an impossible ask for them, because no matter how much we refined our pitch, I feel like it was just not something that indie publishers were looking to invest in at the time. Or ever, really, probably. My favorite was we got approached at E3 by a publisher who was interested in talking, and we emailed them to follow up, and they were like, "Oh, actually, we're not interested." So.
I actually didn't hear that. That's really funny.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was just like a single email afterwards. While the Kickstarter was going, I pitched to a publisher that was interested. I got to the point where I presented them a budget, and they said no. When the game was in very early stages, and honestly no one should have invested in it, I talked with some folks who basically said they couldn't see a way to market it because of the visual style. Yeah, it's hard out there. But I'm happy with the things we were able to do, like having the text games in the middle of the game, like having New Game Plus basically be an entirely new game, as well as allow the game to be as challenging as it is. Yeah. Anyways, I'm starting to ramble now. Let's see. Pudding's asking if Lucah mods will happen, and I have no idea how that works, even as a game developer. It's a Unity game, which makes me think that's probably not very moddable. So if someone wants to figure it out, though, all the more power to them. Sample Lucah, make something cool with it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to read chat and dodge all these attacks. Yeah, Lucah being playable. So, Rulespout was mentioning like moneyed Lucah and Lucah becoming like a crossover character in one of those like indie crossover fighters. I've always wondered how they would even handle the art style thing. I was mentioning to someone last week because there were jokes about Lucah being in Smash because it's on Switch that if Lucah was ever on Switch, I'd want like 3 of their outfits to be like the like high def rendering of like the key art where they look like a person, and then the other 3 to be the high contrast like 3D version of what Lucah would look like. So, anyways, yeah, or it could look like a Game & Watch, like a Rhythm Ridge pointed out. That'd be kind of funny. Yeah, save complete. I'm excited to see whatever comes out of that project that you are alluding to. Sorry, I thought the stream would be ending sooner than this, but these fights are starting to kick my butt for once, which is kind of funny. You can tell I haven't played these parts of the games, or this part of the game as much, because I can't autopilot through them as much. So Nico, what's going on with you musically right now?
What is going not a ton. I mean, I have some stuff that I've been working on, and which I'm sure will see the light of day soonish. But I haven't had to with. I've started a newish job, and it's sort of changed my schedule, so it's been hard to like find a way to. I'm just sort of still adapting my sort of active hours, and trying to figure out how making music fits into that.
Like 4 out of 5 of Lucah's core dev team has switched jobs recently. Purely by coincidence, but I think it's funny. Yeah, but that's cool. I'm hoping at least I can do the work to get a lot of those tracks that I'm setting on out. And that's 100% my intention once the Switch version looks like it's not broken or anything.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the DLC stuff has been posted on SoundCloud anyway.
Oh yeah, so folks can hear it anyway.
Yeah. Certainly for the first DLC.
Yeah. This enemy is a lot more difficult on hard than it is on normal. Hilarious. I do really feel like, the fun fact, the difficulty select and like system for Lucah was added in about one afternoon. When I was first developing the game, there was no difficulty. It was just static, because I didn't think it was within scope, and then I figured out a way to make it work just by like changing a few, like having a variable that can change between all the different enemies. And it worked out shockingly well. And also I had to have 2 different difficulty modifiers entirely just so I could do the Sin and Punishment reference. Anyways. Nico, did you ever play that game?
Which game?
Sin and Punishment.
Sin and Punishment? That doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. It's a really stylish, cool N64 game by Treasure, the Gunstar Heroes dev.
Oh, got it.
Like rail shooter. There was a sequel on the Wii that's really good, but who has a Wii anymore? But yeah. There was something in the chat on. Yeah, the depths. I am really proud of how the scene came out, and ironically, the dust fight is probably one of the simplest once you learn that you can parry its very slow head attack, like that. But I figured maybe, you know, after a few very intense chapters, you would want just a cool like set piece fight, and that's what I decided to put here. Though it's funny, if you don't realize, or if you're not confident in your parrying, and you don't know you can parry the depths, the fight is not difficult, but it takes a lot longer, and then has the appearance of being more difficult. Oh, I just ran right into that, that's hilarious. Anyways. Yeah.
So, folks are talking about Lucah in Smash, but I think that there's some fighting games that I'd rather see Lucah in.
Go for it.
So, I don't know if anyone else played Bushido Blade, but Lucah in Bushido Blade. I think I'd like to see Lucah in the obscure PlayStation 2 fighting game Bloody Roar, because you transform just like all the characters in Bloody Roar.
Wait, what was Bloody Roar?
Bloody Roar was this really obscure 3D... I think it was a 3D fighter, but the gimmick was that all the characters had like transformed into like animals.
Sure.
Or like, it had like actually like, I think it had at least 3 games.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it was certainly like a C-tier fighter.
I thought you were going to say Power Stone.
Yeah, I was just about to say Power Stone. Yeah, Power Stone. Although Power Stone's kind of already perfect, so I'd worry about changing anything.
Hello, Madame Colin says that Bloody Roar was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing it when I was a kid, but I mean, that was so long ago.
Rule Spout mentions that the depths stagger is one of the few things long enough to safely do the Thanatos charge attack, and it makes me angry that I've never tried that. Okay, this round's going a lot easier. So some people might not know, Bios' charge attack is a buff. Like, it creates a little pink aura around you, and it increases your attack power and your attack speed. And I think it also decreases the amount of stamina your attacks use. It's like a mini, like the same effect that the Transform has, but without that extra corruption. And you can charge it up to 3 times, and each time you use the charge, it resets the timer on how long you have it. So if you can keep that going for a while, it's like the biggest damage boost you can have in the game, and that's why I said that it's probably the best mantra. Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, you can talk to Lily during this whole sequence, but all she'll say is like, "What are you doing? Move." So yeah.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a few little. I guess someone asked about Easter eggs and stuff that I didn't see people noticing, and I guess that might have been one of them. Though I'm sure there were people who realized that. But yeah, the lines are in the bot. So they were found. Yeah, Pudding's pointing out you can walk through Lilith's barriers. And I'll admit that's totally an oversight on my part, but then I came up with the justification afterwards that it's because Lilith's barriers are stemming the nightmares and the darkness, and not you, so you can safely walk through them. I guess I can't talk to Lily on this one. Lucah 2 needs a Sin and Punishment rail shooter segment. Sorry, I'm so behind on chat. 100%, I doubt this will make it into a theoretical Lucah 2, but I do want to have Drakengard-esque rail shooter segments where you are flying. I want to make it so that the wings actually work in some instances. That's just a like pie in the sky idea, though. Don't hold me to that. Yeah, the timer's not gonna run out, not while I'm playing. Alright, so we're getting to about the point where I want to stop, which is at, like, right after this fight. So, Nico, is there anything else you wanted to say?
No, I mean, I hope that I can be back for another one of these.
Yeah. I want to try, like, I don't think I could do it on the actual release day, but if I can, that'll be cool. I could maybe probably try to do one on Monday next week.
Yeah, I could. I mean, we'll talk about it. I'm sure. You know, at this time, I am up and no one else in my state is up. So,
right. Yeah,
so
I know it'd be difficult for you.
No, I just mean that like I have nothing else going on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Rhythm Ridge is pointing out you can lose to that enemy at the end of the depth sequence in New Game Plus, and that's absolutely intentional. I mean, it most likely you don't, but I did make it intentional that that could happen.
And thank you, Polyromantic and Save Complete. That's very nice of you to say.
Yeah, thank you. I honestly, I mean, I did put a lot into this game, and I know Nico did as well. But even then, I kind of didn't expect even half of the response we've gotten. I mentioned last time being blown away by the like just the sheer amount of positivity that's been put towards the game. But like one of the things I really didn't expect was for folks to be so touched by it, to in the way that I've seen you all be. So thank you.
Yeah, it's been so cool to see a fandom emerge around this.
I've gotten like fan art for the first time. Yeah. Of anything that I've done. Fan game, even. Wink.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like fan animation. It's we have an AO3 tag. Like that's really cool. So yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Save Complete, for bringing so many people onto their Lucah journey. I hope one day I can see lots of people talking about the game.
Yeah, it's so awesome to see the evangelism that a lot of our fans have.
Yeah, that's the best part, honestly. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. So thank you all for joining, and Nico, thanks for being on call.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah. And thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right. Bye everyone, and Nico. I hope you can get some sleep.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good one. Bye everyone.